Morning at NTV does continue, and we have the frontiers of the week seated right in our studio this morning as we look to Uganda's pursuit of the 2026 electoral docket. Questions linger. Are we ready? Are we in progressive stages? And the presidential nominations that are set for tomorrow and Wednesday, to delve into the preparations and the significance of these. Are we all in the right tune? Are we in sync? Of course, this stemming from some of the contentious issues that we have seen over the course of the weekend. One party having more than 3 people saying that they are going to be vying for presidential candidacy. You do have another party being told, Mikono Tejimara, they didn't submit enough signatures, and this is to the tune of 9,800. Among other issues, and other party pursues also stepping down and saying, you know what, this particular arrest we will not be participating. And so what is the updated list of those that are ready to be verified, vetted and nominated for the presidential candidacy for 2026? The Electoral Commission is in the house, and we do have the Deputy Spokesperson, Mr. Paul Bukenya, to help us and enlighten us on the journey that is before us, not just for the next 2 days, but for the rest of the electoral cycle. Mr. Bukenya, yeah. I know that it is a season that is leaving you with sleepless nights and hectic days, but how is it going so far?
Well, good morning, our viewers. It's that hectic part of the season. We prepared for it, but yeah, it always hits differently. Yeah. But yeah, we are adapting. We are rolling it out. The roadmap is moving. It's progressing well. There are lots of stakeholders involved, and everyone is doing their part. And we're moving towards the dates that we indicated on the roadmap, when Ugandans will be able to go out and you know, first of all, present themselves as candidates. We've already seen the various levels, local government, special interest groups. We have contestants there. We already have elected leaders at, in special interest groups, electoral elections. And now we're progressing to presidential nominations. And thereafter parliamentary, and of course campaigns. Our elections are in January, although of course progressive elections already started, the special interest groups. So we are moving steadily with a roadmap, and it is moving in accordance with the timelines that are laid down in the Constitution. And we're sure that we are going up to the end, all the way to the end. Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's focus on this particular week. Tomorrow and Wednesday, we do have the nomination for presidential candidacy. What's the update on that part of the roadmap?
Well, we are set for nomination of presidential candidates tomorrow and Wednesday. And we are set as the Electoral Commission. We've set up the nomination center at our new grounds. We have a new location where we'll be putting up the Electoral Commission permanent head offices. Well, it's a site, but we've adapted it to have our exercise conducted. It is home. It's home. All right. And we've customized it for purposes of the nominations. All right. Everything is set.
And these are the new grounds in Rweza?
In Rweza, Lubowa, in Machinde Saba Government Municipality, but also on the part of our stakeholders, the political parties and aspiring independent candidates, they are also set. We saw a lot of interest in collection of nomination supporter forms, almost 200 into 200 plus aspirants, and we've seen more than 30 return, and we've started issuing certificates of compliance, which takes them to the next level. So we think that it's still open, and we don't know who else is going to pass through and present themselves to us for nomination, but we are ready, and we're going to be conducting that exercise for the 2 days as stated in our guidelines that we issued, and then we'll start off the campaign season and you know, have the elections in the second week of January.
Okay. All right. So which candidates are you starting off with tomorrow? Which aspirants are you starting off with tomorrow?
The aspirant who booked for the first slot, which is 10 o'clock tomorrow, is NRM aspirant, and that is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. So we expect NRM to present their candidate aspirant to us tomorrow, so that they go through the processes and you know, the nomination process. Okay. So tomorrow 10 o'clock, that's according to our schedule. The first one to book has been the NRM party. Okay.
And then the rest?
Well, we're open. We're looking at who is coming on next, because it's first 2 days. It's first come, first serve. Okay. Now, when you go through vetting processes and you clear, for example, you've been looking at signatures for the past so many days, it's one of the big tests. When an aspirant satisfies that requirement, we issue them what we call a certificate of compliance, and then they are able to even book of the 2 days, when do you want to come in? Then they indicate, and we confirm it on satisfaction of this requirement, because we wouldn't want to book a slot for someone who still has 53 districts to go. So you first satisfy this requirement, then that's when you're also comfortable to go on, pay the nomination fee. It's non-refundable. You don't want to pay that before you know that you've finished the first part, and that's when you book. So for now, I think as at Saturday when we issued the last update, and we'll be issuing another update this morning. Okay. We had two parties that had gone through. That is Forum for Democratic Change and the National Resistance Movement. But there are others who are working on their issues.
Yeah, let's talk about those others. National
will
Unity
join.
Platform being told that Mikono Tijimala. So what's the update as of this morning? Have they finally made up the missing hands? Have they been found? And have they gotten their certificate of compliance?
That one seemed to have shocked many, but it shouldn't shock people that when you make a submission, it can fall short. And part of the fairness in this process is to tell the political party or even independent aspirant that, you know what, you brought in, 98 districts, yes, but out of your submissions, this kind of number, like you saw, of course, not everything was wanting. This number requires, it could even be 5, because 5 is still less. You've not made it. It could be 10, it could be 20. So we have a duty as the Electoral Commission to inform the person who has submitted that, you know what, you have to top up because you've not satisfied this requirement, and that means you can't pass. So, and that's why we call for early submission of these. That is a party that yesterday was a working day for us, and we saw them do the submission, so we'll be communicating today. But there was compliance on everyone. Everyone we notified moved to do this. And you know, Priscilla, I have the benefit of having witnessed quite a number of electoral processes. I know that this has happened to a number of candidates before, so it doesn't come as a surprise, and it shouldn't come as a surprise that you are asked to go and top up. It is something that happens. Okay. And we know why, but so maybe we don't have all the time to go through it. Just to
seek clarity, because on their side, you do have them stating that they had actually submitted over and above that which was required by the Electoral Commission, meaning that they had submitted over the 9,800 signatures from across the country. So it begs the question, when you are verifying as the Electoral Commission, how do you conduct this verification to ensure that every signature is actually a true signature to the aspirant?
Which is what actually we mean. When you put signatures that are submitted to strict scrutiny, many of them, some of them, I wouldn't say many, but 1 or 2, an entry can fail the test. And this is because, Priscilla, if you could look at really the dynamics on the ground, most of the aspirants actually pick these supporter signatures from almost the same towns, same areas, and I'm supposed to support only one aspirant. So first come, first serve basis. When to support one aspirant.
So let's case in point, Naroga Priscilla. I can only sign for one aspirant.
For Paul. Now you've signed for Paul, and you are still in the same trading center. Another one comes and you sign for them. So the first entry to be made on the system blocks you. You've supported one kind. So sometimes you bring in the signatures, and he's a registered voter, but he has already supported an aspirant. So that becomes null, and then you have to go back and look for. That's why they present more, and that's why we didn't ask everyone to do it afresh. We just said, please go and top up on this area. And there were specifics, and there was quick response from the stakeholders who were notified. So I think there should be no reason to. There is no ill intention. This is something that I saw it in 2011. I saw it in. I've seen it happen in 2015 with aspirants, and now we are seeing it. It also happened in the COVID election 2021, where we would ask someone to go back and top up. So I think there's been good response from those we notified, and as and when we finalize their process, we will be informing the country.
Okay. The public is rather interested in knowing what does it take to earn the certificate of compliance from the Electoral Commission as a presidential aspirant, except for the signatures?
Well, the signatures is a very key aspect, and that's actually where we issue the certificate of compliance with that requirement. It enables you now to go to the next stages. Otherwise, the next stages are quite many. You need to, there is a nomination form which requires you to meet a number of requirements. There is academic qualifications. You need to also pay a non-refundable fee. You need to be
the 20 million?
Of 20 million. But you know, the requirement for the signatures is a big requirement, because there's one constituency for presidents, and that's the entire country of Uganda. So going around and collecting from 98 districts is quite a task. It's quite a job. But also it is what reflects the presidency, because you're going to be the president of our whole country. And I think that's where most of the aspirants find the challenge, the hardest challenge. But like I told you, we want to make sure that everyone who is booking with us has satisfied what would consider maybe the hardest hurdle. Because I may book you, Priscilla, and block out someone who wanted that slot, and then you don't fulfill that. So issue a certificate of compliance as a first step. It doesn't mean you've satisfied all the other requirements. The other requirements need a proof of formal education of A-level or its equivalent, which we've been talking about for quite some time. The photography, the proof of payment of the non-refundable fee, if you are presented by a political party, proof that you are the flag bearer. And then, of course, the other requirements that are outlined in is the oath you swear. You are supposed to swear oath. I'm a citizen, I'm of age, I am, you know, a law-abiding citizen, I'm not under any, there's a whole range of questions that you sign off and swear oath on the nomination form, and they're commissioned by a commissioner of oath. So all those are requirements, but I think where we always put the basis for us to issue a certificate of compliance, among other things, is that you've satisfied this requirement of support from 98 districts, which is 2/3 of the districts of Uganda. That's what it takes.
You've not talked about the other issue that has come up for previous candidates and them not appearing on the national register. Isn't that also something that is a prerequisite?
Of course, you must be a registered voter. And one of the things, if you saw the people who are correcting forms, there are some that we turned away. We told them, we're sorry, we cannot serve you, because that was done at the first point, and the first point, especially for independents. But for a political party that takes you through a process, political parties nominate flag bearers who are already registered voters. So what you attach are those, and that's why the form, the nomination form is detailed. If you are a registered voter, your registration number and everything. Yes, of course, it's a requirement, but that's something that is already satisfied at the first level. And right now, we expect you to be a registered voter. Of course, if it turns out that you are not, you will not qualify to be nominated.
All right. So, Mr. Bukenya, from our sources as of this morning, we do have 36 aspirants in the pipeline for
those who have returned nomination, or rather, the supporter signatures. Yeah, those who have returned, who are going through verification, who are at different levels. Because truth is that some have returned, but you know, you have 30 districts out of out of 98, and I think that's not good news for such a person. But we still inform them about that. Actually, we have informed them. Everyone who has returned has been updated on their performance. As of Friday, Saturday. Okay.
All right. Now let's talk about the D-Day. Tomorrow, Tuesday and Wednesday. I know that there's also some requirements and guidelines that these aspirants must follow as they're coming to the Electoral Commission nomination grounds to be able to complete this exercise. What are those?
First of all, of course, you must be scheduled with us. Although it is nomination day, it's open. You can present yourself. But we require that you schedule, you go through, you are booked with us, because we must satisfy this key requirement. So the 2 days are open. An aspirant can come in at any time, but for administrative purposes, for order, and this is a presidential nomination, so it has the character and the security that at the level of presidential. So that's why we put in these administrative measures. So you must have satisfied this key requirement, but also we've guided on how aspirants should approach our venue. We've limited the number of people they can come with to 20, including the aspirant themselves. So that means 19 people accompanying you, who must include the proposer and the seconder, and you must be physically present as an aspirant in order to be nominated. And what do those 19 have to come in with? Because I'm sure share them with us in advance. They're not just going to walk in. You share with you. So as we issue a certificate of compliance, we ask you who is going to accompany you, and then you say, well, I'm coming with members of my Central Executive Committee, or I'm coming with my spouse. And then, of course, there is you. First of all, there's you, the aspirant, then the proposer and the seconder. Those are very, very important, those three. Those three are actually enough for the nomination to take place. So then on top of that, then you put 17 other people. We've guided on the traffic, because you must come with not more than 2 vehicles, which must carry not more than 10 persons each. So we are advising that they use minibuses. That's what I was going to say. They use minibuses. We saw it work during the COVID election, and we are advising that they use that. We are issuing stickers to 2 vehicles, and we are issuing accreditation to the persons whom you have identified as accompanying you. Of course, the law, like some have already raised the issue. There is an aspirant who was also a sitting president. That's what I was also going to bring up, that according to my understanding, the incumbent is having the privilege of up to 100 people. No. The incumbent actually comes to the nomination center with their 20 people. This is including the aspirant. If we see more than 20 people, that is the requirement for. And I don't want to talk about a security detail, because the law is very clear. It says that a person who occupies the president of the office of the president and is an aspirant is entitled to the facilities that are ordinarily attached to their office in the conduct of their day-to-day. So I'm not talking about a convoy that delivers you to the venue, but I'm talking about presentation in the nomination, in our nomination area, in our nomination tent. And that is supported, you are accompanied by 19 persons. All right, so the nomination exercise will start from 10 a.m. up to what time? Because we have seen in the COVID-19 era, we did have candidates who have to, leave their convoy behind, get onto borders, so they can reach the nomination grounds on time. The nomination exercise is from 10 a.m. in the morning, and it closes at 4 p.m. in the evening. But like in our electoral laws, anyone who is still in the queue by 10 would still be served. We have 2 days for this exercise. That's why we are advising aspirants to book with us, so that they are scheduled within those slots, and then we'll arrange for them to come in. Since we've done the verification in advance, it takes about 30 minutes to basically our process would take about 30 minutes to go through a candidate or an aspirant and declare them if they've satisfied the requirements. Then the other administrative processes that are at the venue, issuing them, or rather giving them their security detail, that could take a few more minutes. Then they present themselves to the nation. There's a media center where you come and answer a few questions and talk to them. And how much money will you also be giving them to go through their campaigns? We do not fund, in the amended law, we do not fund the candidate. We do not provide them with the funds for their electoral campaign, but we do provide them with security, and that's why there is a lead vehicle that is prepared, a brand new pickup with security that will be their lead convoy, the convoy vehicle. All right, so as we close, what is the traffic guideline for this particular week, and also just an explainer on the readjustments of some of the important dates in the election roadmap, including readjustments on campaigns when they start, and the MPs? After nomination of presidential candidates, they will start their campaigns on the 29th of September. We revised the roadmap to commence campaigns on 29th of September up to the 12th of January. Of course, on Wednesday, when we close the nomination, we'll announce the polling date and the final moments when we close. And the campaigns close 48 hours before polling.
Okay.
So for members of parliament, their program was also adjusted from 15th and 16th October to 22nd and 23rd of October. And we've notified them so that they prepare to present themselves at our returning officers. Police has issued a traffic guideline and a traffic management plan that will affect parts of Kampala, Entebbe Road, Munyonyo, Express Bypass, and areas starting all the way from Lubowa, so there will be cut-off points. The traffic will be managed well, so you need to take care of that and plan your journeys. But they will also, we're not totally closing off the roads, it's just managing those roads as and when an aspirant is passing through. Okay. And access to the venue is restricted to only accredited persons with passes.
All right, Mr. Paul Bukenya, thank you so much, and all the best of luck as the Electoral Commission in this week's exercise of the roadmap as we journey to the general elections 2026. Related to that, we're going to be having our Kickstarter looking into the assessment of grounds as Uganda regains its democratic momentum, and of course the checks and balances on the political landscape for youths in Uganda. And to have that conversation, we'll be having an aspirant, Siraje Chifampa, and then we also do who's the mayor for Rubaga. We also be having Frank Kabuye, MP Kasanda South, and Diana Kampe, and that is an aspirant, also national female youth member of parliament. Those are joining